This woman passed away in her apartment and no one noticed for 2 years. On the 25th of January 2006, the skeletal remains of Joyce Carol Vincent were discovered in her room in London. She had been dead for more than 2 years before anyone noticed. 38-year-old Joyce was born and raised in London. She lost her mother when she was 11 years old and was raised by her sisters. Her relationship with her father was estranged, and she thought he had died in 2001, even though we would discover that he was alive even after her own death. She had very few friends and cut off communication with her family. Around the time of cutting her family off, she suffered from domestic abuse and lived at one point in an abuse shelter. Sometime after she had died, her family hired a private investigator to look for her. The detective found her location and gave the address to her family. They wrote letters to her, but when they received no response, they concluded that she had definitely cut them off. Joyce's neighbor noticed an unpleasant odor coming from her bedsit, but they assumed that the apartment was unoccupied and the odor was coming from nearby waste bins. Some of her bills were paid by direct debit and others were covered by debt forgiveness. This left her electricity and TV on, but the sound of the TV did not trouble neighbors, as the complex was constantly noisy. Also, half of her rent was being paid directly by her benefits agency, preventing anyone from raising an alarm. The other half of her rent was not paid for 2 years, and this got the attention of the housing authority. They decided to repossess her room. When they got there, they met a double-locked front door and had to force their way in. The housing authority discovered her lying on her back, surrounded by Christmas presents that she had wrapped but not labeled. The fridge contained food with 2003 expiry labels, and her TV was on. Her body was too decomposed, so she had to be identified by dental records. The exact date of her death is not clear, but it is believed to be December 2003. She suffered from asthma and had a recent peptic ulcer diagnosis. This led to the general belief that she died of either complications from peptic ulcer or an asthma attack.